Welcome to Prescribing Lifestyle, the podcast that's all about empowering you to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm your host, Dr. Avi Charlton, and each week we'll dive into the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you optimize your well-being. From nutrition and fitness to mental health and mindfulness, we'll explore every aspect of lifestyle medicine, giving you the tools you need to make informed decisions and take control of your health. Whether you're looking into preventing disease, managing chronic conditions, or simply elevate your quality of life, Prescribing Lifestyle is here to guide you on your journey to wellness. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on this transformative adventure towards a healthier, happier you. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about how to regulate your nervous system. I'm going to reference it especially to the Polyvagal Theory by Dr. Stephen Porges. Some of you might have read the book or heard of the theory. I'm just going to make it brief and help you understand today. I'm going to explain to you what the autonomic nervous system is first. Some of you might have heard me talk about the autonomic nervous system in my talks. For example, when I talked about breathing that helps with our autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, that in part is very important. So the autonomic nervous system is made out of two branches, sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic branch is responsible for flight response. And if we are stressed or if we're in danger, if there's a tiger chasing us, our sympathetic nervous system will release adrenaline, prepares us for action, and we need to run away. And this is what the sympathetic nervous system does, is it helps us respond to stress. It is normal that we have stress, and that is how our body works. Whereas the parasympathetic branch is responsible for our bodily functions. It's a wandering nerve. It's a very long nerve that goes from the brain all the way down to the lungs, the heart, the diaphragm, and the stomach. And it helps us with our heart pumping, with our lung breathing, and even our stomach and bowels digestion. So the vagus nerve is responsible for all our bodily functions. However, the vagus nerve also has two parts. There's a ventral vagal pathway and then there's a dorsal vagal pathway. To understand that, the ventral vagal pathway helps us with being safe and supported and the feelings of safety and engaged and socially connected. Whereas the dorsal vagal pathway, it helps to shut us down in the time of danger. It takes us out of connection, out of awareness, and it freezes us or numbs us so we're not here, and it takes us out of action. Let's say you are a deer and you're being chased by a lion. So if your lion chases you and you almost get caught, this deer will actually shut itself down and pretend to be dead. This is actually the ventral vagal pathway of the nervous system that shuts this deer down and pretend to be dead. It freezes us and makes us numb. So this theory helps us to understand the couple of branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and it helps us understand the mobilized part of the sympathetic nervous system and the immobilizing part of the parasympathetic dorsal vagal that shuts us down. Let's say you're burnt out, you can't do anything anymore, you just want to curl up in bed. That is the parasympathetic dorsal vagal pathway. But the parasympathetic ventral pathway helps us feeling safe and connected. Now, I'm going to get you to imagine a ladder. So let's say you have an autonomic ladder and you're the 3 levels of the ladder. the top of the ladder, you feel on top of the world and you feel like you're coping all right, everything's good. That is actually the ventral vagal pathway that you're feeling safe, you're feeling connected, everything is working fine, you're feeling calm and connected. Whereas, let's say that's the green light. So you feel you're in the green pathway, you're going along the green traffic light, on top of the ladder, you feel on top of the world, and everything is working out fine. And you're driving along, singing a song that I'm on top of the world. And in the middle of the ladder, you can imagine it as you're in the sympathetic nervous system. You're in the yellow light. You're not quite green. You're in the yellow. For example, if you're driving along, you hear some ambulance siren going and you wonder, oh, what's going on? Something's not quite right. And you have an alarm system going that something's happening. You are aware of something happening and you're scanning for danger. We are getting a little bit more mobilizing what's happening, and your sympathetic nervous system is working. So you're trying to protect yourself. You know there might be something going on. There might be a little bit of anxiety, maybe some panic attacks, and your thoughts might be going through that something's happening, maybe some health health concerns that you might have. You might have a little bit of responding in high blood pressure, and your sleep might not be as good, but not quite too bad. And you might have some tension in your neck and shoulders and back. So let's imagine we're on the yellow light. We're in the middle of our traffic light. So a little bit of stress, but not so bad. And then there's the third place. You're in the bottom of the ladder. This place is dark and scary, and there's no sound. And it's hard to imagine. Your body is actually shut down because you are burnt out. You're in the bottom of the ladder. You're feeling no hope. You're stuck in bed. You just can't get out of bed. You're feeling hopeless, abandoned, foggy, too tired to think or do anything, and you just want to curl up in bed. You're feeling lost and you just can't function anymore. Sometimes some people feel dissociated and they can't remember anything, depressed, isolated, don't want to connect with anybody. And when this happens, you actually have higher risk of more chronic conditions, like more health consequences, like you can have the high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes, and with lots of distress, you can put on weight. So let's imagine again there's the three types of the ladder. In real life, it's actually quite normal to move up and down the ladder. So let's say quite often you're in the green space, you have some stress in the workplace, then you go down a bit to the yellow middle of the ladder because some stress is going on. And then if it all resolves, you go back home and you relax, and then you go back to the top of the ladder. You go back on the green light. Let's say you have a bit of stress going on. You're in the middle of the ladder. Things are not quite right, but not too bad. And then something else happens. Let's say your husband gets sick and something drastic happens. You might actually move down from the middle of the ladder to the bottom of the ladder, and you become really stressed and you don't want to move. You get immobilized and shut down and just can't catch up with friends because you can't stop thinking about what's happening with your husband getting sick. So what is good to understand is these three nervous systems, where we are, it's good to pay attention to which pathway that is dominant in our life, whether we're going well, top of the ladder in the green light, or whether in the middle of the ladder in the yellow light, or whether in the red part that we're with the dorsal vagal dominating, that we're shut down and not operating as well. So how can we regulate our nervous system? We need to do more things to try and get us up the ladder. So the more we do things up the ladder, do more things that improve our green system, then when red things happen, when something really stressful happens, it help us go from the bottom of the ladder to the middle of the ladder. And the more we do things to regulate our nervous system, we can get back up to the green part of the ladder, the top of the ladder, and we feel on top of the world again. So I want you to think that if you're in the red light system, bottom of the ladder all the time, it might just be an improvement for you to go from bottom to the middle. And that will be very good. And it depends on what is happening in your life. Going from red to yellow is a big improvement. So what are the practical ways to regulate our nervous system? And you might know that I'm going to talk about breathing. Practicing breathing can really help us regulate our parasympathetic nervous system. Practicing diaphragmatic breathing into our diaphragm and into the bottom of our lungs can help calm ourselves, promote calmness, and shift into a ventral vagal state. So the more we practice slow, deep breathing, the more we can help to improve the balance of the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Doing heart coherent breathing can really help as well. What I mean by heart coherent breathing is breathing in for 5 counts and breathing out for 5 counts. Doing it for example, 1 minute or 5 minutes will be even better. I have actually recorded an episode, which is episode 24, and I've constantly prescribed this exercise to my patients. So doing more of the heart coherent breathing helps this nervous system to regulate our breathing and synchronize it with the function of the heart. So when you have something stressful, you can practice breathing in for 5 counts and breathing out for 5 counts. So let's say we just practice with in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea, and you can take out my episode number 24 and you can listen to it and you can practice it once a day, 2 times a day, or even 3 times a day, which will really help you regulate your nervous system. Then there's other things that you can do, such as practicing mindfulness. You can practice a body scan and practice being aware of your bodily sensations. Let's say you're having a panic attack and you know what's happening and you know your heart's pounding because there's something stressful and you're worried about it. Sometimes just noticing what's happening with your body, noticing your bodily sensations and gently calming your mind down, slowing your breathing down and being grounded, maybe practicing some sensory experiences. So you can just take a step and notice all your 5 sensory things. Notice what you're touching. Just touch the table, touch something, find something that you can touch. Notice what you're hearing. Maybe you can go for a walk and notice the birds hearing. Maybe you just stop and notice what's in the background noise. I can actually hear outside the birds singing. You can just notice what you can smell. Maybe it's the dinner from last night, the remnant smells. You can just notice if you can taste anything, notice what you see, and maybe you pick something and you just pay attention and look at the shape. That is just an easy grounding exercise. Doesn't cost you anything, just makes you a little bit more grounded. So doing breathing, mindfulness, grounding practices can really help you get connected with here and now and anchor yourself to what's happening now rather than worrying about what happened before or what's going to happen, and keep thinking about your to-do list. You can also practice some social connections, get connected with your friends, and maybe call up a friend and have a chat. You can think of a good experience that you've had when you went out for dinner. Remind yourself of positive things. I remember Carla, Beat Carter, explained to me that we should practice gratefulness, and she explained that it's a good practice. When you go to bed, you practice gratitude, in that you actively seek what happened in that day. Think of all the events that's happened and think of all the good things that's happened, and you thank yourself for all the good things that's happened. So I might think about this morning, I had a good run. The weather was lovely. I had a good breathwork session, and then I had a good podcast recording with a lovely lady, and there was a lady on Facebook and she connected with me, and she's going to meet up with me at Low Carb Conference next month. So actively seeking these good things can really help you feel grounded, practice gratitude. Think of all the nice things that's happened today rather than all the bad things that happened. So rather than thinking of, oh, I didn't have enough energy to do my run, and maybe my 12-year-old was grumpy at me, maybe keep thinking of those negative things will not be helpful. And doing more of these things every day can really help us incorporate into our daily routine and balance out more of the parasympathetic nervous system. Practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself on how you navigate and regulate your nervous system. If you're going from the bottom of the ladder, from the red zone to a little bit of the yellow zone in the middle of the ladder, you've got good improvement already. You might not be in the top of the ladder yet, but that is fantastic. Congratulate yourself. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm just going to tell you a story of, there's a couple of, actually I'm coaching about 5 patients on how to regulate their breathing. And it's up to week 3 or week 4 of this breathing coaching for this cohort. And I'm so glad that these people have signed up to this breathing coaching. There's one of the ladies I won't name her, she's had lots of traumatic events in her life. And she's took up this breathing, and she practices breathing once a day or 2 times a day or 3 times a day. I give her exercises that ranges from 5 minutes to 7 minutes up to 10 minutes a day. And she has felt calmer, a bit more regulated, and she used to have nightmares all the time, and she stopped having nightmares. So I think she has gone from the bottom of the ladder to more of the middle, and even sometimes more in the green zone. I'm going to do more of this breathing coaching, and I welcome people come and see me one-on-one, and I'll prescribe these exercises and connect with them once a week or once a fortnight and give them the next step exercise. And this Sunday, actually tomorrow, I'm going to do a 20-minute breath flow on the Zoom, and I'm just going to practice more for my own sake and help whoever wants to take it up to take up more breath work. I've actually done some more mental health training last weekend. Last weekend, I did 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 2 days, both Saturday and Sunday. I did so much mental health training, especially on this Polyvagal Theory and a lot of other aspects of mental health, like cognitive behavioral therapy and also lots of other things. So I'm going to be much more equipped to teach you on many things with regulating nervous system, using breath work, mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, self-compassion, and I feel so empowered. So stay tuned. In the future, there will be retreats and there will be workshops on breathing. Actually, there's a retreat coming up that I have organized with Julie Bristow, personal trainer, in November, going to Mansfield in Victoria. So let me know if you're interested, and details are on my website. I hope you like this episode on regulating your nervous system and help you navigate this minefield of the stress response. Hopefully you can get out of your bottom of the ladder, the red zone, to more of the yellow zone, or more predominantly of the green zone if you can. Let me know if you got any feedbacks, and I hope you like this episode. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle podcast. Before we wrap up, I have an exciting news to share. I have a new ebook called Low Carb Made Easy. It's now available. This guide is perfect for anyone looking to dive into the low carb lifestyle. Inside, you'll find the basic theory behind low carb eating, a detailed food list, practical meal plan, and a variety of delicious recipes. It's designed to make a journey to better health easier, simpler, and enjoyable. For those who prefer a hard copy, head over to my website and register your interest using the link provided. My website is www.mlcclinic.com.au. Head to online store. Remember, the information shared in this podcast, it's for educational purposes only and not proper medical advice. Always consult your medical professional before making any changes to your lifestyle and diet, or you can come and see me in Melbourne Low Carb Clinic. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with us on social media. Your feedback will help us improve and reach more listeners. Lastly, if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends and family. Together, we can make a positive impact to our health and our communities. Thanks again for listening, and as always, stay healthy and happy. Until next time.